Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Recently I made a video on this channel discussing how Bakugan's 4th generation might be coming sooner than we originally thought. I'll leave a card above to that video if you haven't checked it out yet. But late last week, on Thursday to be exact, we got the announcement to, I think, many people's surprise, that Bakugan's 4th generation might be coming really soon, but in a very different form than we were all anticipating. So if you don't know what I'm talking about already, Spin Master announced on Thursday that they are making a live-action Bakugan feature film being directed by Brad Peyton, who directed San Andreas and Atlas. And yeah, we're getting a live-action adaptation for Bakugan, which, when I initially saw this, I was like, that's rather strange. I really wonder what direction that's going to take the franchise in. And then I realized, wow, so is this going to be the 4th generation of Bakugan? This is what we're getting. Gen 4 of Bakugan is going to be a live-action spin-off type series. That's kind of weird. It's cool to be seeing that Bakugan's not dead, that they're going to be doing something new with Bakugan, but this is a rather strange direction to be heading in. And then I read the quote from Spin Master and the quote from Brad Peyton. So the first quote being from Spin Master's president, Jennifer Dodge, says, "Bakugan is a global franchise with a multi-generational and devoted fan base built on the strength of its compelling characters and explosive battles. As fans who were part of its initial craze now enter adulthood, we are thrilled to be working with accomplished filmmaking talent like Brad to reimagine Bakugan in live action, expanding the franchise for fans while introducing it to new audiences around the world." So yeah, it sounds like Bakugan's live action film adaptation is actually something that's being targeted towards me and you, the people who grew up on the original Generation 1 of Bakugan. From this statement alone, from this quote here, it sounds like to me this is going to be a reimagining of Generation 1. At least that's the way I'm interpreting this here, because they said that this is for fans who are part of the initial craze who are now entering adulthood. So this is something that's being made for the fans of Generation 1, so I am assuming this is going to be a modern take on Generation 1 of Bakugan, but in live action this time. And in all honesty, you guys know how I feel about animated franchises taking the jump into live action. It's more likely than not, 9 times out of 10, not a good idea. I discussed this at full length in a video a little while ago. I'll leave a card above to that as well if you haven't heard my thoughts on that. This is an instance where I think a live action film adaptation is actually something that's really good for the franchise right now. Bakugan has had a tumultuous history throughout its run, right? We had Generation 1 with Battle Brawlers, started out with a boom. It was kind of a fad because by the time New Vestroya came around, a lot of people fell off. By the time Gandalian Invaders came around, I was the only person that I knew in my circle of friends who actually still liked Bakugan anymore. Then I eventually fell off of it in Gandalian Invaders and didn't even know about Mectanium Surge till years later. Then all of a sudden we get Bakutech exclusive to Japan. It was like a last-ditch effort, I guess, to save the franchise, but in Japan only, and quite frankly, coolest iteration of Bakugan. Honestly, I'll leave a card above to that video. Recently discussed that on this channel as well. Then we get the reboot in 2019 with Battle Planet, right? It was this big new take on Bakugan. I wasn't really into it when it first came out. Then it got Armored Alliance. Then Geogen Rising caught my attention. I got back into the franchise. It had evolutions and legends, and it was the most popular iteration of Bakugan we ever had. Gen 2 was a huge hit for the franchise. Then they made a panic move when the sales started falling off and made Generation 3, which was a complete and utter mess and only got a single season. There was actually a video that I was going to have come out today about Generation 3 of Bakugan, but I'm pushing that back because this is more interesting and this is something that's hot off the presses. But stay tuned for that video in the near future because it's something interesting that we didn't know about the future of Generation 3 and what would have happened had it not been canceled. But all of that happened and Bakugan is dead. Bakugan as we know it is no more. There is no Gen 4. You know, I said in a recent video they might be working on something behind the scenes, and now we know that something is. They are working on a live action film adaptation, and this is something that could put the franchise back on track. Hopefully they develop a real game around this. Hopefully they try to make it complex, make the Bakugan themselves, the toys themselves, actual elements of the game that have different parts that you can combine and make your own custom combinations that actually will affect the gameplay and actually will make it something that, hey, you have a Bakugan that's like a defense type maybe, that it prevents other Bakugan from hitting the right spot on their cards. My point is they need to take the core values of Bakugan and really enhance them and expand upon it and make this franchise as big as as it could be and as good as it could be, and this is their chance to do so. They're making an adult Bakugan live action film. This is something meant for older audiences. Yes, this is going to be something for kids to buy and collect the toys as well, but at the end of the day, if this is something they're targeting the original fan base with, this is something that's going to be much more serious. This is something that's going to be hopefully meant for adults and an actual game around it, and maybe this will be a huge success, and maybe this will relaunch the franchise to even higher heights that it's been in the past. And I'm really excited to see what becomes of this. And furthermore, the fact that this is Generation 1 inspired, it sounds like we might be going back to that design language, right? I know Generation 1 Bakugan, at least for me, hold a really special place in my heart. There's no debate that the best toys that Bakugan has ever gotten worldwide is Gen 2. Those toys are just of the highest quality. Gen 3 was a mess, but Gen 2 was really good from a toy perspective. Imagine the design language of Generation 1, those Gen 1 B1 Bakugan, the B2 Bakugan as well, but with the new modern toy techniques that we got with Generation 2. Imagine how cool that new B1 Dragonoid is going to be. Are they going to take the exact designs we had when we were all kids back then and we all were enjoying Battle Brawlers? I don't know. That remains to be seen. They might make new designs inspired by those originals, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But all in all, I am really excited to see what this live action adaptation, this live action iteration of Bakugan ends up being. It's probably a ways away, but I think it could be something really special. And last but not least, we do have the quote from Brad that I mentioned earlier before. He said that Bakugan is ready for the film treatment, and I'm thrilled to be the one to bring it to the big screen for the very first time. With Lindsay and the Spin Master team alongside me, we're excited to build a hit franchise with global appeal. I am confident we will create a must-see film event that does justice to the unique and epic world that is Bakugan. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what this ends up becoming. I'm looking forward to seeing this live action adaptation of Bakugan, and like I said, this sounds promising. This is the one instance, or one of the few instances I should say, where I think taking an animated franchise and throwing it into the live action realm might actually do really good things for the franchise. Like, this might be what we've all been wanting for Bakugan, a more serious game that targets older audiences that kids can also enjoy as well. Because let's be real, at the end of the day, when you were a kid, did you know the rules of Bakugan, Yu-Gi-Oh, or the Pokemon trading card game? Because I sure know that I didn't. So if you make a game that's complex, that's meant for older audiences, they will be your core fan base. They will be the one who are going to tournaments and buying your toys and trying to train and get better at this game. But it's also going to have a trickle-down effect that you have kids wanting to get involved as well. Some kids are going to make up their own rules with Bakugan. They're going to play it their own way that they want to, but then you'll have other kids who are just collecting it for fun. And then you'll have kids out there who are actually getting into the competitive scene and trying to know what this Bakugan competitive game is actually all about. And if they do all of that with this live action reboot, this live action adaptation that they're making for this franchise, I think they might be onto something big here, and I'm really, really excited because of that. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the fact that we're getting a live action Bakugan film? Like, how crazy is that to be saying? Because this is definitely not something that I had on my bingo card for Generation 4 of Bakugan. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.